Hi Sag, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot. Welcome to your cards for November. So I'm really excited to tell everyone that November is going to feel like things are starting to move. We're going to have traction. We're going to break free from some old cycles. Blocks are going to get removed. Obstacles will start to disappear. All in all, it's a really exciting month. Now, I am recording this reading at the end of October. I believe today is the 23rd, 24th, somewhere in there. So I'm recording this before we have this tremendously powerful full moon in Taurus, which is conjunct Uranus on the 31st of October. Likely I'm picking up at the beginning of this reading something that probably occurred during that time, because of the end of October and beginning of November is kind of like that big culminating moment. Now, I did a couple of readings in the past getting us here to this moment, but if I'm reading this right now and you're listening and thinking, this doesn't really resonate, this doesn't fit with my story at all, none of this would even be possible, then I urge you to come back maybe a week or so into November and review the reading. Because I think a lot of things, a lot of big shifts are going to occur at the very end of October, and therefore this will begin to make a little more sense for you. So getting into these cards, Sag, I think we're starting to close in on this whole cycle, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto story that has been going on for you in your second house of self-worth, how you value yourself. And it also has a lot to do with how we allow others to treat us. You know, we kind of set this precedent for how we want to be loved and appreciated in our relationships. And considering we're at a time in which so much has shifted because we've done so much changing internally and our external world. South Node in Sag, things are going to start to creep up because you are really experiencing some of the heavier karmic lessons with the nodes of the moon. And November might be particularly ripe for you as we step into the end of November with this eclipse in your opposite sign, your seventh house, which is a house of your commitments to others, your deepening relationships, your marriages, your business partners. It's also where we hold contracts and commitments in our life, such as real estate contracts, business contracts. So there's a lot going on right now, and you are at this really pivotal karmic point in your life where things are going to start to move. However, we're closing out the old. We're closing out those old chapters. Now, your first card out, let me get to your energy for the month, is that of the Page of Fire. This tells me that you're really looking for the new stuff, Sag. I don't think there's a lot of settling. There's not a lot of quietness about this Page of Fire. And you want to be a little bit careful because, well, for one, you're coming out very attractive this month. There seems to be a light or a sexiness to you. And there's a level of attraction, but it might be somewhat shallow or a little bit on the childish end. This Page of Fire kind of reminds me of like a child wanting attention, Sag, and you might be forced to look at some of the ways in November that you kind of seek validation from others. It could be kind of a walk through the shadow side of our desires and how we approach them. And there might be a reckoning with the things that we want, because I think the universe is kind of pushing you to see things and do things a little bit differently than you have done in the past, Sag. Now I have a feeling with this Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, now moving direct, but we're still going to go all the way through. So Mercury touches at the end of October, it touches up with Venus in Libra at the very end degrees. And this is a pretty particular time for you, your 10th house. And you've got these two cards, the Hermit and the Three of Cups. I'm kind of drawn to the purple here. I'm kind of drawn to almost an energy of a contraction, a simplifying. And Sag, I think you might be dealing in November with some issues of maybe some overindulgence. The Three of Cups could represent third-party situations, maybe areas of infidelity. It could be areas of overspending. There's a kind of a feeling of, like I said, overindulgence with this card. And the Hermit card showing up tells me that you're not really looking at it. You're not really looking at what this situation truly is. Maybe there's been an element where you've tried to shove it under the rug, justify a certain behavior that you have. Now with that Page of Fire, if you are somebody who feels a need to kind of be validated by other people's attraction towards you, obviously this can kind of get you into trouble. And as Mercury kind of connects in that 10th house, which is your 10th house of reputation, how other people see you, there might be some kind of secrets that are coming to the surface right now. Maybe things that you didn't really want other people to know. The 10th house is kind of public information. You know, so if there's rumors or situations of infidelity, you may have been dealing with some of that coming to the surface at the end of October, beginning of November. Now, clarifying the Hermit card is the Eight of Swords, the Six of Cups, the Moon, and the Six of Wands. This all tells a pretty accurate story of maybe some old ways and old habits that you are being forced to let go of at this time. Now the Eight of Swords is kind of that self-sabotage. This is kind of an element of being a little bit haunted by things that you said or the ways that you acted in the past. It's really being forced to look in the mirror at this time. Really take a look at the way that you behaved and the reasons why. There could also be an element here with the mirror that maybe, Sag, you're getting a taste of your own medicine in a way. Getting a little bit of karma being returned to you. Now the Six of Cups tells me that there's a karmic situation here, meaning we're dealing with a karmic person, soulmate energy, and this is probably something or someone from your past. And I have a feeling the past is kind of coming back to haunt you at this time. When I see that Six of Cups, Eight of Swords, and the Moon card. With the Hermit, things are coming to light, secrets are coming out, maybe there's some real deep emotional stuff coming to the surface at this time. Now the Moon card coming out next to the Six of Wands might be a coping mechanism, Sag, that you have for avoiding the deeper emotional issues in your life. This seems like a karmic cycle here of wanting to avoid the deep, dark, karmic stuff that kind of lives in your past. And the thing is, with the Six of Wands, I feel like Sag wants to move on, wants to get on with their life, move on to the next level, pursue new endeavors, creative things, maybe start dating again, and yet something keeps dragging you down here. And there seems to be a duality between this Moon and the Six of Wands. There might be some stuff going on below the surface, Sag, that you really don't want to be shown in the outside world. You might be going through some really emotional upheaval, some reckoning of your past, of, like I said, even secrets coming to the surface, maybe not of things that you've done, but what people have done to you. Removing that kind of mask and seeing people that you really loved in a whole different light and having to deal with the disappointment. Yet the Six of Wands tells me that you will want to just kind of move on, kind of put on that brave face that says that everything's fine, this doesn't hurt me. And being in that Six of Wands energy, it could be where you simply want to avoid the emotional pain, which has to come to the surface in order to heal it, and instead, you know, maybe you quickly want to move on, maybe bring up that dating profile, meet that new person. Maybe you're relying on some shallow scenarios, just relying on other people's interest in you as far as like swiping your profile or whatever, and replacing, you know, it's kind of like a temporary band-aid and a really internal deep hurt. Now I say that because the Oracle card that comes out underneath that mess is card number 23, Star Mother Araricus. I don't know how to pronounce that properly, and so I apologize. But this is a Star Mother energy, and this is where the divine urges us to protect ourselves. This is where the divine says, hold on. Nothing is going to move until you really, you bring these things to the surface. There's an element of protection. There's an element of having to heal a lot of stuff. And by heal, it means that you have to accept and forgive yourself. There's a lot of things from the past that are coming back to you and showing you that if you continue to go in the same direction over and over, you will continue to have the same results, never actually healing, which means you can never move to the next level. And I think Sag has a habit of getting into shallow situations that provide some kind of an instant gratification, when what you truly want is something much deeper, a much deeper connection. Now your next card out is that of the Child of Wands. And this is clarified by the Ace of Wands, which tells me, again, super attractive energy this month, Sag. If you do start a new dating profile or something like that, if you're kind of just going out with friends, Three of Cups, you know, if we're able to go out with friends, I think the connections, I think the attraction to the things is going to come very easily. But I don't think that you're looking for like the next relationship. I don't think that you're looking for the next major job, the next, you know, major creative endeavor. I feel the Child of Wands is not really wanting to get serious about much of anything. Yet the things that you attract when you're in that energy of whatever comes is pretty powerful. Ace of Wands means there's new opportunities headed your way. They're in your grasp, in your sight. There might be somebody that you're attracted to. There might be a job offer that you're kind of entertaining at this time. And the center card of your reading is that of the Lovers. This is Gemini energy, and we are prepping up for this first major eclipse in Gemini at the end of November. So your 7th house is getting some action. Your ability to commit to things. And I think Gemini's energy for Sag is really having to take a hard look at the things that you're attracting and the energy that you're willing to put into it. The Lover's card here indicates that you're going to be in some sort of a period of needing to make a decision. Okay. Now, the decision rooted down by the Ace of Wands, that opportunity, and the 8 of Swords. Are you ready to take it? 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords. If you haven't dealt with this past stuff, if you haven't done the healing, if you haven't taken accountability, if you haven't made amends, if you haven't said I'm sorry, if you haven't forgiven yourself, then you will not feel free enough to take on this Ace of Wands, to embrace this opportunity. And the question is, do you feel worthy of this opportunity? Now, all that retrograde Mercury in your 12th house, making you really look at yourself and your actions on a subconscious level. Sag is saying, why do I do these things? Why do I do this self-sabotage things? Why can't I have, a committed partnership? Why can't I correct these things in my life? And you've been given the opportunity to review and heal. Sag, the good news is whatever's happening, this decision that you have to make, it's bringing you back into balance. The Lover's card always does. It brings you back into your balance, your ability to give and receive love, to accept love as well as you give love. Your challenge card is that of the Six of Pentacles. Sag, you might have a habit of either getting into relationships, getting into situations without actually intending to fully invest in them. I think Six of Pentacles is when Sag gets a little bit afraid. Six of Pentacles is where we kind of put our resources together, put our life together, kind of integrate with other people. Two lives kind of becoming one. And I think there's an area, this Eight of Swords is kind of being haunted by the past, Sag. And I think you want to take something to the next level. I think that you're wanting more out of life. I think you're wanting more out of these relationships. I think that my Sag is getting tired of things that are surface level. Things that just simply look good on paper, look good to other people. And I think that now they're starting to look at relationships and partners and people that come into your life I'm looking at them as, what do they have to invest? What do they have to give? Is there something of value here? And there seems to be a need to explore the values a little bit deeper. This Explorer of Wands is clarified by card number 50, breaking down to a 5. No place like home. So Sag. There seems to be something in your past that you are not giving up on. You may be trying to walk away from it, trying to get yourself involved in other relationships, other attractions, other jobs or creative endeavors. But I think that you know that these are merely distractions. And I think that Sagittarius has to take a really hard look this month at that whole transit of the South Node through your sign. And it's got to talk about your comfort zones. Because there's an element here with this no place like home, that there's something that you continually are drawn back to. There's an element in your past of something that you deeply wanted, something that you really loved. Yet you may not have felt worthy enough for this thing. And so you may have sabotaged it in some ways, subconsciously kind of destroying this opportunity that truly felt like home. It felt like someplace that you could be yourself, authentically yourself. There might have been a relationship in your past that kind of exuded these qualities where you were able to be yourself, that you were comfortable in your own skin, and you felt this connection, and it wasn't just on a sexual connection, it wasn't just on a shallow acquaintance or a friendship. There was something deep and profound in this connection. And if you've been avoiding this for all of this time, it kind of comes to a head now in a way that you can't move on. That this may have been something from your past that you may never get the opportunity to experience again. But it doesn't mean that you have to continue to relive this cycle of kind of dead-end relationships that kind of distract you from this inner loneliness. This 8 of Wands is a deep feeling of loneliness. Not being connected to other people. There may have been some really deep healing that needed to occur, a lesson that needed to be learned so that you can begin to value these connections in your life. Because the universe isn't going to hand you the next thing, not going to bring you the next real, true, honest connection until you've realized that you are deserving of it. And that is the choice. That's the choice. The ultimate Lover's card in the center of the reading is that, Sag, you get to decide that this could be an end to the cycle. You could go about things in a healthier way, and you could start to find yourself in connections that do invite growth. If you have done this healing, if you have reached this place of forgiveness. And no place like home is an indication that things are changing for you now, and that the universe is asking you to step out of your comfort zone, to do things differently than you have done them in the past. 3 of Cups being a card of reunion, and the overall energy, the card of the Hierophant, tells me that maybe There is a need for you to go back to the past. There is a need for you to revisit a relationship or an experience here. It may not be to actually get back together, but to bring yourself some healing and some closure to the situation. And I think that's really going to be the important part of November for you. Now, your outcome is that of a 9 of Pentacles. And this coming out next to this 6 of Pentacles means, Sag, that you're willing to embrace your time of independence, your time of being single. All of a sudden, you don't want to jump into shallow relationships that kind of distract you from the investments that you truly need to be making in yourself at this time. The 6 of Pentacles means that there's a real indication that you're beginning to understand where you put your time and energy into will bring you the ultimate growth. And the growth being the 9 of Pentacles, the growth is you. The growth is in you. It's in your independence. It's in your value. There's a lot of integrity that comes from this. Learning to be a person of integrity with this Hierophant card. So not taking part in shallow relationships and really ultimately looking for something that invites growth into your future. Now, I really like this energy because clarifying this 9 of Pentacles is the Tower and the 8 of Wands. This shows me that there's a breakthrough. Now, this could very well be that eclipse in your 7th house. And there could be an opening in communication. Meaning that if you do the work throughout the beginning of November and you don't get distracted by the shallow kind of immediate gratification needs, meaning you don't get involved with this first person that catches your attention, not kind of acting out on those kind of childish attractions that you could have. If you've done the work, then the universe is going to step in. You got the card of co-create. So potentially in November, you can make a great deal of growth towards what you truly want by getting to know yourself, by getting to understand the behaviors, the patterns that you have that self-sabotage you. And so then you begin to ask for the bigger things, right? The Hierophant isn't settling for little things. It's not settling for relationships that aren't going to go anywhere. A Hierophant is looking for the higher commitment. And Sag, the higher commitment is going to be the commitment that you have to yourself this month. That Hermit card means that this is your opportunity to go within. It's probably a time where you close out those periods of overindulgence and you start to get really serious with yourself. And when you get to that place, the Tower card and the 8 of Wands, new opportunities begin to open up rapidly. Because you're standing in your self-worth, you're standing in your independence. You're going to do things differently now. And you've made your wants clear with the universe, and the universe is working on it. And the Tower card is indication that things that are holding you back from this will simply be moved out of the way. Doorways will open. 8 of Wands, communication will be there. If you are wanting to talk or have conversations, if there is an old relationship from the past, and it comes out for review, the Tower card assures me that you're going to go about this opportunity and in a much different way than you may have done in the past. This is you operating from this new place, this new person that you've become. There's very little fear here. And I think it's all about stepping up, stepping into a more adult version of yourself, doing that hard work, facing those demons, looking at where you hold yourself back, where you self-sabotage yourself, because the universe wants to give you that thing on that next level. So you've got to meet it halfway. 6 of Pentacles. You've got to start putting your energy into more solid foundations. This isn't about who looks good, who's got the best profile. This is really about those deeper conversations, about those things that you want, about those emotional connections this month. And it's about taking things to the next level in your emotional life, Sag. So selling yourself short, being kind of breadcrumbed, you know, falling for people that promise you the world but actually give you very little. These are old stories, Sag. And the same goes for if that's how you're participating in relationships. Maybe kind of making it seem like you want to invest but not actually investing. You know, because you're afraid of kind of putting things together. There might be some commitment issues that are coming up that you kind of have to face and sort out. Because I think the next thing is headed your way. The next opportunity. It could be something old from the past, or it could be something brand new that really can only come to you once you've cleared out this old energy. Either way, Sag, it's an opportunity for tremendous growth, and the universe is really protecting you now. And I think as long as you stay focused into doing things in a new and healthier way, making healthier decisions for you emotionally, physically, financially, on all levels, knowing what you're worth, and knowing that now is a time where you could really achieve those things. So you want to take them seriously. All right, Sag. I do wish you the very best in the month of November. I'll be back mid-November for the relationship readings. And until then, I'm sending you so much love. Take care. Bye.